Welcome to another episode of Music Therapy. I am John Thune, a mental health therapist, and today we are listening to your recommendation of 1 million subscribers Defining Success by REN. For all you renegades out there, I know it's been a long requested video for you. Let's get right into it.
I want to keep this short and sweet because I wrote something that I want to share with you. But first of all, I just want to say how grateful I am. I've reached 1 million subscribers on YouTube, which is flipping huge milestone. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who supported my music over the years, whether you're newly on board or have been here for a while. I wanted to say thank you to the YouTube reaction community who have gotten behind my stuff in a big way and really helped me reach this goal. So thank you guys. I wanted to read this passage that I wrote about success. It's too much for me to remember right now, so bear with me. But yeah, success to me means that I have a responsibility that transcends me. If I have a platform where people are paying attention, then I feel like it's my duty to make that count.
Wow, that first line there, responsibility is having a accountability that transcends me. That makes me emotional. So powerful. His ability to level me with words and just get me right to that emotional state, right? Something that's fulfilling, something that is worthwhile in his life. Beautifully said.
Success to me means that I have a responsibility that transcends me. If I have a platform where people are paying attention, then I feel like it's my duty to make that count. It's far more important than my aspirations with music and what I could personally gain. There's a saying that stuck with me recently, which was a rising tide lifts all ships. Somehow, by finding success for myself has meant that I can find success for the people around me. And that makes me feel very rich. I'm in a very strange...
Right, that he has this ability to help other people in his community, in his corner, that have been there through his struggles and his times of conflict and strife. And yeah, he is like a lighthouse in a way, giving light to the mental health world, giving light and rise to people around him.
Position right now and that makes me feel very rich. I'm in a very strange position right now where I owe much of my success to the most destructive force in my life, which has been the turbulence of my physical and mental illness. The thing that has by far brought me the most pain has been a source of constant inspiration.
Wow, I love this. Yeah, so he is really diving into how he has an attachment to his illness because it has, through his illness, through his pain and emotional suffering, he has created something beautiful from it. And that's such a weird place to be, because imagine like you have a really traumatic event in your life, but then you use it as fuel to get you to where you've always wanted to go in life. So this weird dichotomy, this weird interplay between something traumatic and how it actually helped him get where he wants to go. And I see this all the time in clinical practices. People get attached to being abused, to a divorce, to something really bad that they never want to repeat for their children or themselves.
By far brought me the most pain has been a source of constant inspiration, which ironically led to creations which brought me the most joy.
Wow.
Creating art which means something to somebody else and can potentially be a companion to somebody else in the dark justifies my own pain.
Yes, absolutely. So how music can be your best friend in a time of pain and discomfort and agony, and how it helps you get through otherwise unsurvivable times. And that's what I love about his music, is it shows that you are not alone no matter what you're going through, and no matter the pain that he's gone through. It makes him so relatable. His pain has given him creativity. It has given him a purpose in his life.
Potentially be a companion to somebody else in the dark justifies my own pain. And I desperately needed that to be justified. There are a lot of people alive today who live in the dark. It's a place that I'm very familiar with. In the peak of my health problems, I was severely underweight. All my meals had to be restricted and blended, and I was so tired that I couldn't participate in life. I couldn't socialize, I couldn't watch films, I couldn't read. My bones constantly hurt. Even standing in the shower was excruciating and exhausting. And this went on for years, with no answers. Nobody could have ever convinced me during that time that my pain and suffering would be a source for something good, because it felt insidious. Nobody could have ever...
I think you can see, I'm getting emotional here too, is you can see his emotional pain here. Like he looked away there, and you can see kind of the waterworks welling behind his eyes there. And yeah, in the moment of his pain, he can't possibly see a light at the end of the tunnel. All he is feeling and seeing in that moment is pain. And no reframe would work, because when pain is hitting you, it changes you, and it changed him to make such beautiful music. And it's interesting how he has a place of gratitude now from it, instead of hatred for all of those severely debilitating medical and psychological problems.
Because it felt insidious.
Right there, yeah.
Nobody could have ever convinced me that something constructive can come from hurting every day. But I'm here to tell you that if you are hurting every day, don't be afraid. One thing I know to be a certain, to be a constant law of the universe, is that life is inconsistent. Life is beautiful and life is hideous. Life.
Wow, I love this so much. So yeah, he is absolutely, and I'm also getting emotional here, because he is discussing, you're not alone, right? And it's so hard to talk about your pain and to give your pain purpose like he has here. And you can see he kind of pushes away a tear. That first time I've ever seen him actually get emotional. So it's really powerful that it is here in this beautiful talk.
Something constructive can come from hurting every day. But I'm here to tell you that if you are hurting every day, don't be afraid. One thing I know to be a certain, to be a constant law of the universe, is that life is inconsistent. Life is beautiful and life is hideous.
Right. Change is inevitable, whether we want to stay the same, whether we want to become a totally different person. And your suffering, no one's suffering is forever. It may feel like it's forever in the moment, but changes moment to moment, minute to minute, day to day.
Life is kind and life is cruel. Dancing inside this dichotomy and inconsistency makes me know that you won't hurt forever.
Yeah.
Whether that comes from resolution of what you're going through or acceptance of where you are.
Both of those things are so important, right? Is the acceptance allows you to change it, and the resolution, knowing that there's an end to the suffering, that there's an end to the joy. And this dichotomy that he's mentioned, that it's beautiful and it's ugly, it's cruel and it's kind. It is absolutely existing in between those polar opposites, and it's rarely ever strictly cruel for somebody or strictly kind for somebody. There are outliers, but typically it's somewhere in the middle, and that's the one universal thing that unites us as people is pain and suffering, and the fact that we're not here forever.
That comes from resolution of what you're going through or acceptance of where you are. You won't hurt forever. You don't know yet whether or not your pain conceals gold. It definitely conceals wisdom, and it's definitely a catalyst for filling you with empathy. So
I love this. Yeah, so how else would Ren be so wise, being such a young person, if he had not gone through that pain? I love how he describes that pain conceals gold, and these nuggets that will reap rewards in the future, because it's like, how gold is made in the dark abyss of the geothermal crust, and when we are under pressure, when we are under pain, we have the opportunity to sit there and suffer, to die, to make something beautiful out of it. He's done that so well, and that's what makes Ren so different than many other artists, is he's actually he's lived through severely debilitating medical problems, pain that has led him to this creative outlet and beauty that he's done.
Resolution of what you're going through or acceptance of where you are. You won't hurt forever. You don't know yet whether or not your pain conceals gold. It definitely conceals wisdom, and it's definitely a catalyst for filling you with empathy. So stand strong, my friends.
That is another huge point that Ren is off the charts on. His empathy, his ability to relate to the human experience, to bring me to tears, to bring all these random people together, whether you're in the UK or you're in the States or you're in Australia. He has such a way of connecting people, and that's because his empathy is so heightened from his pain. And without that pain, his empathy wouldn't be there, because if you live a life without pain, there is less glue, less empathy to connect you to other people, if you're not realizing that pain is universal. And that's what he's touching on here. It's so brilliant.
And don't let the darkness consume you, because once you know the dark and become intimate with it, you become very capable of wielding the light.
Wow. Yeah. Right. Sometimes the darkness can show you the light, and that's absolutely true. And a great reframe. And sometimes I've seen the opposite. It's like the darkness consuming people. But it's hard to get that out, to get people out of that darkness, because in that moment it feels like it is so insurmountable and so insufferable. But yeah, I have seen exactly what he's saying too, is that people wielding the light in the spaces of darkness. It's so amazing how many people from rough, impoverished environments have such great perspectives, such great outlooks in life.
And become intimate with it, you become very capable of wielding the light. You could be instrumental for changing this world for the better. There's nothing humble about shrinking or doubting yourself because you are large. You can.
Wow. Yes. Yes. So humility is not the same thing as self-doubt and minimizing your own experience. We absolutely do this as people reflexively because we think that someone else knows better, but no one knows our own experience just like we do. And this is what Ren has done, is he's made something beautiful from his suffering.
There's nothing humble about shrinking or doubting yourself because you are large. You can be ferocious and you could be magnificent. For the medical industry, who too often let people fall through the cracks, it's your duty to do better. For the people living in the light, who have either stepped out of their shadow or have never had to walk beside it, it's your responsibility to put out untainted love.
Yes, right. For those of us who haven't suffered to the extent that Ren has, it's our role as people to give back, to give love, to give empathy, compassion to others, because that's what keeps us around. Our biggest indicator of how long we live is how many meaningful friendships we have in our life. And so our relationships hold us to being our best self and living our best life. And if what else is the point of life if not to give back love to those that you care about? Such a brilliant speech here.
Walk beside it, it's your responsibility to put out untainted love. Our own greed, desire to ferociously expand, and decisions rooted in self-interest can benefit ourselves in a material sense, but can be very destructive to the hive and the world around us, ultimately hurting ourselves.
Yes. So people with immense amounts of wealth, billionaires, trillionaires, are taking away so many resources. And in the moment it feels good for them, but overall we have limited things, and it is such a finite place to be in this earth with our resources, and we need to take what we need and to give back the rest, instead of becoming hoarders and people who are consuming excessively. And it's unhealthy. We know this. We see gluttony all different ways clinically, whether it's overeating, over shopping, gambling, addictions. There's so many different facets of gluttony that would be better if we rein them in as a human species.
So we really must consider that if we're going to step into a bright future. As humans, we have an incredible potential, and it would be a shame to throw it away. So community, humanity, and changing our relationship with the natural world so it leans more towards homeostasis must be a priority number one.
Yes, right. Realizing that we're a part of the world and the world is a part of us. A great physicist Neil deGrasse Tyson says that we are made up of the same chemical compounds as all things in the universe: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen. And so stardust literally exists in us. We are stardust, and stardust is us in terms of what it's made out of chemically. Really fascinating here that he's touching on this.
So community, humanity, and changing our relationship with the natural world so it leans more towards homeostasis must be a priority.
Yes, so community is so important. We know people who have communities are way better off than people who don't. Whether that's a church community, whether that's a running group or a Pilates group, community is so crucial. We're meant to live in these little small groups. And I love how he touches on humanity, because we have become so detached from our humanity, from having this ability to relate to each other. We're, living in these cold, isolated bubbles of screens, and it is so disparaging and so disconnecting into the community aspects. Like, what do you think? Why do you think he mentions that that humanity is so important? Because we're losing it. That robotics are taking over. That technology is consuming us, and we're losing parts of our humanity through being behind screens all the time.
World, so it leans more towards homeostasis, must be a priority number one. If you're watching this and there's a knot tied up in your stomach with bitterness, anger, or hatred for your fellow human being, be with it, feel it, understand it, express it, and then let it go. You're hurting. Give yourself love, forgive yourself, and then project that love outwards, and the anger will pass.
Yes. So he's using some clinical skills here. He is feeling to heal his emotions, and it is completely normal to feel this anger towards fellow humans, whether it's for cutting down trees, for taking advantage of consumerism or capitalism. And when we name our feeling, like a knot in our stomach, like you mentioned, we can tame our response to it. And it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to have thoughts of massive amounts of rage towards other people. But we need to let it go, and we need to let it go by feeling it. And he's touching on it here so brilliantly.
Homeostasis must be a priority number one. If you're watching this and there's a knot tied up in your stomach with bitterness, anger, or hatred for your fellow human being, be with it, feel it, understand it, express it, and then let it go. You're hurting. Give yourself love, forgive yourself, and then project that love outwards, and the anger will pass. We have a decision in every interaction to tilt the world towards heaven or hell, towards Jannah or Jahannam, utopia or dystopia, and some people's ideas of heaven will be another's image of hell. So tread carefully, but treat those differences with respect. Tapestries are made beautiful because of the variety in the sum of their parts.
Yes, I mean, if the world was exactly how you see it, it would be so boring, because everyone would see the same thing, they would want the same thing. And the fact that we have people with very different backgrounds, very different perspectives, my vision of hell is different than his, and heaven and vice versa, right? And it's so fascinating that we each want different things as human beings, but we still need the same core components, right? Humanity, community, kindness to ourselves and others, mental health, physical health, good sleep, good diet. All those things are crucial. And that's what I try to deliver on this channel, is just the core components, the similarities of what we need as a human species, and realize that, yeah, there are individual differences, but there are things that are very similar, and we definitely have more in common than we do different. Let's listen to this one more time.
Jannah or Jahannam, utopia or dystopia, and some people's ideas of heaven will be another's image of hell. So tread carefully, but treat those differences with respect. Tapestries are made beautiful because of the variety in the sum of their parts.
Yep. And I just want to appreciate Ren's art, what he's bringing to the tapestry. I think it's so meaningful, so powerful, so emotionally vulnerable, and so important.
Thank you to 1 million people inside this rich tapestry for the opportunity for me to try and spread my own vision of what I believe to be good.
Yes.
And thank you for justifying my pain. Thank you. I love you.
Oh my gosh. That's so emotional at the end, yeah. 1 million people he's made a difference to. That's so incredible how he has changed 1 million people's lives, and through one person. 100 years ago that would be so impossible, and today he stands tall despite going through what he's been through, the pain, the suffering, the Lyme's disease, and now he is spreading that love, spreading that joy. Such an inspirational, incredible journey here. Such an incredible artist. I love when he just sits and talks, because it's just so loaded with information about his life, his purpose. And I love what he said too about justifying the pain that he's feeling. He needs those million subscribers to justify the pain he's feeling, because he probably felt a million tons of pain at one point in his life. And now he's finding a purpose to the pain. And that is so brilliant. What a excellent recommendation. I really appreciate you being here, sticking through the end. If you would please like, subscribe, comment how this made you feel, how it affected you. I would so appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you on the next music therapy episode.